Good evening and welcome to the Section 8 Class B tournament. As tonight we have got Coon Rapids against Hamel, a third round game. We're coming to you from Castle Field. I'm Anthony LaPena along with Tony Vietti and Jerry Otto to call the action for you. And Tony and Jerry, we've got a third round matchup here between the Coon Rapids Moichants and Hamel. Both teams, of course, coming off wins in round 2 over the weekend.
That's right, Anthony, and you see there in your shot a couple of the coaches, Dean Smith from the Coon Rapids Moichants, and then on the other side, Sonny Hillier from the Hamel Hawks. Both teams 9-3 in the conference this season. Hamel is 28-12 overall, and the Moichants are 20-5 overall. What are the kind of interesting stats we have on both teams, Jerry?
Well, in the season series between these two teams, the Moichants came out on top 2-1. They won the first game on May 19th, then in a doubleheader on June 30th. They split with Hamel, winning 4-3 and losing by a score of 21-14.
Well, both of these teams have done very well in this Section 8 playoff so far. Coon Rapids, of course, having a bye in their first game, as well as Hamel, of 1 and 2 seeds. Coon Rapids then played Cannon Falls, who had defeated Blaine on August 3rd. And Cannon Falls beat Blaine 4-1 and then got smothered by Coon Rapids 10-2 on August 3rd. And then Hamel got into this game by beating Centennial, the number 3 seed, Centennial beating Anoka 5-4, and then Hamel beating Centennial 5-0. So both of these teams winning very convincingly to get to this game here, this Section 8 Class B tournament semifinal game. So the winner of this will go on to play the loser of this game against Centennial or Cannon Falls on Saturday, August 10th.
Just going over the ground rules here. As I said, we're coming to you from Castle Field in Anoka, one of the nicer fields that you'll have in the metro area for amateur baseball.
We're playing under the lights, and it's I think they're playing a full 9 innings. Is that correct, Jerry?
I believe so. 60 degrees, pretty brisk right now.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of actually chilly. We got some breeze. It looks like that the Moichants will be taking the field first as the home team. I see some of the Moichants there warming up in front of their dugout. And we're actually getting some fans out here on hand to watch this game.
Again, this is a big game, the winner's bracket final of the tournament, so whoever wins this game is in really good shape to win the Section 8 Class B tournament, because the team coming from the loser's bracket would have to beat them twice.
That's right, and both of these teams very, very tough competitive teams. In fact, they faced each other last year in the same position. And I think Hamel came out the upper hand there, and I think the Moichants this year are trying to change things and turn them around.
And again, these are probably both of the teams that you'll see representing Section 8 in the Class B state tournament.
Well, let's set the lineup for you for the visiting Hamel team that'll be leading things off. It'll be the shortstop Dan Vandenberg to lead things off. He'll be followed by the second baseman Tim Fleming. The first baseman Alex Bauer will hit third. Center fielder Ron Van Krellen will hit fourth. Sean Doherty, the left fielder, hits fifth. Number 6, the right fielder Eddie Kuthner. Rocky Bocci, the catcher. Al Kreb at third base hits eighth. And the designated hitter Dan McCarty will hit ninth for Hamel.
Pitching tonight, Anthony, for the Hamel Hawks will be Darren Knight. And he's done pretty good so far this season. As you look at the Hamel Hawks in the dugout right now. Just to let you know, some of the batting averages for this Hamel team, pretty impressive. Alex Bauer, the first baseman, batting .480 with 16 home runs. Ron Van Creveland, we're going to stumble on that one. Going to stumble on that one all night long. Center fielder, he's batting .340 with 16 home runs, and then Sean Doherty, .350 with 17 home runs. So some big hitters down the lineup there. And then, of course, Eddie Luthner, 10 home runs, .350 average.
Let's set the Coon Rapids defense for you that will be behind their pitcher tonight, Jeff Dainty. Around the infield, it's Wade Hefter at third base. At shortstop, it's Joe Boyce. First baseman will be Dean Smith.
Second baseman is Dale Irving.
And around the outfield from left to right, Scott Brown, Dave Wilner, and Jeff Roll. Dainty taking his warm-up tosses and will just about set to get underway.
Jeff Dainty is the staff ace of the Moichants, and they've kind of pitched around him during the tournament so they could save him for this game tonight.
Dainty will be caught by Doug Dainty. There you get a look at the second baseman, Dale Irving.
The brothers on the battery tonight. And then there's also another brother kind of connection here tonight as well. The catcher for the Hamel Hawks, Rocky Boyce, is the brother of the shortstop for the Moichants, Joe Boyce. And Jerry, did Joe Boyce, did he play anywhere else besides in amateur ball?
But indeed he did. He played for Elizabethan, the Twins minor league club, and also played in Boise, Idaho in the minor league systems.
So he's got some, the Moichants got some veteranship there behind them at shortstop.
And so do the Hamel Hawks. Alex Bauer and Mike Pavelka both played for the University of Minnesota.
Well, I have to admit that the bat might sting a little bit when you hit it tonight. It's for an August night. You know, that Minnesota weather, it is August 6th, and it's a chilly one. It feels almost like, I don't know, like September or November, something like that.
Most of the Coon Rapids Moichants coming from Coon Rapids High School, and also about half of the team attended Anoka Ramsey Community College.
A lot of the Moichants played together at Anoka Ramsey.
And Dean Smith was the captain of that team.
Yes, with the all-star second baseman, Dale Irving. Reason that we'll refer to Dale quite fondly here throughout the cablecast is because Dale is also one of our colleagues at CTV North Suburbs, bringing you this action of this amateur baseball.
And we'll try and cover up for his loss in the truck here this evening.
Looks like they're getting ready to go. First person, Dan Vandehey, the shortstop for the Hawks, is in the batter circle, and they're getting ready to go. We're getting ready for the first pitch here in this 1991 Region 8 Conference Championship. Semifinal, rather.
Little conference at the mound as the Moichants set up their defense. Dan Vandehey stands in, the shortstop. He'll lead things off. As we mentioned, followed by Fleming and Bauer in the Hamel first inning. Vandehey steps in and we'll be underway here with the Class B third round. Dainty into the windup, and here's the pitch. Low and away for ball one.
Not exactly sure what the dimensions are here, but center field looks a good distance away. We'll have to find out what that is. Get back to you on it.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Vandehey swings and lifts one in the air to right center field. Long run for Rule, but he's there and makes the catch, one away. The fences here are very reachable unless the wind is blowing in, and tonight the wind, there's a bit of a slight breeze, but it's blowing toward the fences. And Jerry and I had a chance to see Anoka High School play out here this season against the Roseville Raiders, and some balls jumped out of here in a hurry with the wind blowing out that afternoon.
Indeed, left and left center is very reachable for any right-handed power hitter, as we saw in the top of the seventh with Roseville's own Tom Foley tying up the game with a 3-run homer.
Breaking ball across for a strike, and 0-1 the count. Tim Fleming, the second baseman.
Fleming's batting .250 on the season.
And the 0-1 pitch misses down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dainty really seems to be snapping him off as he's throwing those breaking balls.
And here's the 1-1 pitch. Fleming fouls it back. 1-2 the count. He's had pretty good movement on the fastball. It's been dipping down and away from these right-handed hitters. And he's ahead in the count now, 1-2. Fleming takes it low, and the count evens up at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch, swing and a pop-up at foul territory. Smith over near the fence. He's got room and makes the catch in foul ground for out number 2.
That's why they call Dean the Oz. Make those magical things happen out there. The coach of the Moichants, Dean the Oz Smith.
And here's the first baseman, Alex Bauer.
Again, Anthony Alex Bauer with really good power, batting .480 on the season with 16 home runs.
Well, he looks like he's an imposing figure in the batter's box, that's for sure. We may get a chance here to see just how reachable that fence is in left and left center field. The 1-0 pitch is lined into center field. Going back is Wilner. He's there and has it for the out. Bauer hit it right on the nose, but right at Wilner in center field.
Great play by Willie there as he kind of tracked it down right off the play, and looked like that ball might have kind of slowed down. The air is kind of damp, so maybe it might hold the balls down a little bit. I'm not sure, because it sure seemed like Bauer tagged it a lot harder than that.
So in the top half of the first for Hamel, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. A perfect first for Jeff Daney and the Coon Rapids Moichants. We'll go to the bottom half of the first inning with no score as Coon Rapids comes to bat. And we'll take a look at their lineup and the Hamel defense for you.
Leading it off for the Moichants will be number 3, the center fielder, Dave Wilner. Batting second, the coach for the Moichants, first baseman, Dean Smith. Batting third, the catcher, number 33, Doug Dainty. Batting fourth, the shortstop, Joe Boyce, number 4. Batting fifth at third base, Wade Hefter. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, Mark Schnaff. He's batting for the pitcher. Batting seventh, number 22 in right, Jeff Rule. Batting eighth, number 7 in left field, Scott Brown. And batting ninth at second base, number 6, Dale Irving.
Sounds like a pretty powerful lineup to me.
Again, 20-5, an excellent record overall, and 9-3, tying Hamel for the top of the conference. But because they were ahead of Hamel 2-1 in their season series, they took the conference title.
Rounding off the Moichants tonight are number 0, Chris Jones, number 8, Jay Olson, number 27, Brian Shermers, number 16, Kip Jacobson, and number 10, Perry Seidel.
Let's take a look at the Hamel defense for you. On the mound tonight will be Darren Knight. He will throw to the catcher, Rocky Boyce. And then around the infield, it's Al Krebs at third, Dan Vandenberg at short, Tim Fleming at second, Alex Bauer at first base. And in the outfield from left to right, it's Sean Doherty, Ron Van Krellen, and Eddie Leitner.
Again, real interesting note, Rocky Boyce, the catcher for the Hamel Hawks, played for the Moichants last season and decided to change teams this season. Reasons to us unknown, but again, helping his team get to this position as well as he did last year.
Knight takes his warm-up tosses as we're just about set to get underway with the last half of the first. And in that top half of the first, it seemed that the ball was jumping off the bat pretty well, especially on the shot by the first baseman Bauer to center field. But even on the one that Vandenberg lifted into right, to start the inning. He didn't seem to hit it all that well, but it carried pretty well into right field. So we'll see. The air is light here tonight, and the ball may be carrying awfully well.
Wilner in the last game against, I think they played Cannon Falls, had 3 home runs in that game. So Wilner, the leadoff hitter, with some decent power. Wilner, or Willie as he's like to be called, is 25 years old, and he went to New Ulm High School, graduated in '84.
New Ulm, of course, rich in baseball in tradition there. Had a chance to see them back in the state tournament this year. Knight's first pitch, high heat, is swung on and missed for strike 1. Knight into the windup, and here's the 0-1 pitch. Missed up high, and it's 1-1. Caught the corner with that one, and 1 ball, 2 strikes the count.
Willie was the '84 Male Athlete of the Year at his high school. Played 2 years all-conference baseball at Wilmer Community College and then South Dakota State University.
1-2 pitch is fouled back. Wilner stays alive.
Wilner's played 3 years with the Moichants, all of them in center field. To take a look at one of the Dainty brothers at third base coaching.
Here's the 1-2 pitch from Knight. First off speed pitch that Wilner has seen, and he takes it high and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Knight, a real deliberate worker on the mound. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Again, it's fouled back and out of play. And Wilner continues to battle Darren Knight here, leading off the last of the first.
Really making Knight work, as he's had to throw several more pitches than he probably would want to the first batter.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive into center field. Von Krellen on the run. He can't get it. It just goes all the way to the wall. Wilner will pull up at second with a stand-up double. And the Moichants are in business in the top half of the first. Or bottom of the first, excuse me.
Oh, Wilner with a lot of power, like I had mentioned earlier, just got a hold. It looked like he got a breaking ball again, Anthony, and kind of rode it to left center, and it just out of reach from Ron Van Creveland.
Oftentimes you'll see that when a batter is able to foul off that many pitches. He's able to time both pitches from Knight. He was right on that one. He had a chance to see all of Knight's pitches in one at bat. And it'll bring up the first baseman, the coach of the Moichants, Dean Smith. That's in there for strike 1.
Dean's, of course, we mentioned before, Dean's nickname is Oz. He's played 2 years. He played 2 years at Anoka Ramsey and 2 years at South Dakota State University. He was the coach, or a captain at South Dakota State University during his stint there.
Here's the 0-1 pitch from Knight. Just low, and the count evens up at 1-1.
Smith with very good speed. Wilner as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of a hit and run maybe play here or something. But Dean is happily married to his wife Becky. On our stat sheets here.
Knight comes set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swinging a foul, backing out of play. 1-2 the count. Wilner at second with nobody out. Last of the first. The Moichants threatening to jump to the early lead.
I think they'd really like to do that too, Anthony. That, against a team with this type of power that
Here's an off-speed pitch, line to right at Eddie Leitner. And Wilner will have to hold at second base. So Knight gets a big out in Smith, and it'll bring up the catcher, Doug Dainty.
like I was going to say, the Moichants would like to score early with a team with the caliber of the Hamel Hawks. Be nice to get on the board right away and get their pitcher, Jeff Dainty, a little bit of, give him some backup, you know.
Now batting number 33, the catcher, Doug Dainty.
Doug Dainty, or fondly known by the Moichants as Stump. Played first base for the Moichants last season, and as the catcher's position opened up when Rocky Boyce went to the Hamel Hawks, Stump decided to take up the slack and move to catcher.
Knight peers in, comes set and delivers. Up high for ball one. Outfield not really playing all that deep for a number 3 hitter in the lineup. Dainty had a good rip at that one, but missed it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Stump's got pretty good power. I've seen him hit the ball very hard in Moichant games in the past. Sometimes connection is the problem that he has.
There's the 1-1 offering. Strike 2 call. Dainty now behind in the count 1-2. Knight has shown pretty good control here in the early going. And the 1-2 pitch is fouled straight back.
Wouldn't want to be driving around Castle Field right about now behind home plate. The backstop is set way back and not real high, and so you could catch a flying foul ball anywhere.
Darren Knight's already thrown 15 pitches this inning.
There's the 1-2 pitch. Off-speed pitch is fouled back. He didn't really appear to catch Dainty by surprise with that off-speed pitch, though. Dainty was, again, right on it, but fouled it back.
You'll notice that some of the Moichants players have a 21 on their left shoulder. That is for one of the players last season who was involved in a car accident.
1-2 pitch is just low, and the count evens up at 2-2.
And the Moichants players are wearing that in memory of him. They got him in kind of the end of last season, and they're wearing him this full season.
Knight comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Swinging a fly ball lifted into right center field. The right fielder Rule is there. Tagging and going to third is Wilner, and there will not be a play. So Dainty moves him to third, but there are now 2 out for the shortstop, Joe Boyce.
Well, it's hard to second guess whether or not Willie should have maybe tagged up on Oz's Dean Smith's shot out to right field. But looks like the Moichants are going to have to put something together here to get Willie across.
Well, Boyce is put in a position where he has to come through with a hit. Of course, with 2 out. Takes that one up high for ball 1. Wilner, I think, would have had an awfully tough time tagging up on Smith's ball to right field. It wasn't hit all that deep, and it was hit on a line right at the right fielder Rule. Or Leitner, excuse me. That one's high again, and it's 2-0.
Now, Jerry, you were saying that Joe Boyce played in the minor leagues for the Twins.
Yes, he did. In their A-Farm club in California.
There's the 2-0 pitch. Misses high and away, and Knight now struggling with his control a little bit as he's behind 3-0. See if Boyce has the green light on 3-0.
My mistake, actually. Elizabethton's in Tennessee, I think.
Takes that one for a strike. 3-1 the count.
Boyce probably looking for something down the tube again. Good hitter's pitch, 3-1.
And here is the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a pop foul out of play down the third baseline. So Knight has battled back to work the count full after falling behind 3-0. As Boyce tries to drive home the game's first run, Dave Wilner down at third base with 2 out.
Knight still having to throw a lot of pitches. What is the count up to now, Jerry?
23.
23 pitches and only 4 batters.
And here's the 3-2 pitch to Boyce. Swing and a foul straight back. Boyce had a good cut at that one.
The Moichants seem to be making some pretty good contact. Every one of the batters has fouled off at least one pitch so far.
Well, Knight has been right around the strike zone with every pitch, and the Moichants have had the advantage of seeing a lot of pitches. Here's a little squibber into the Hamel dugout. Count will remain full. They've had a chance to see each batter 5 or 6 pitches, and it has allowed them to time Knight's fastball. Count still full, and Boyce stands in. The 3-2 pitch, swing and a foul back.
Well, the one thing that the Moichants are doing by fouling off balls and such is, I mean, they've only had 4 batters bat, but they are keeping the defense out on the field longer and kind of cool them off.
Knight takes a long look for the sign. Now comes set, and the 3-2 pitch. Curveball missed down low. And Boyce coaxes a walk from Darren Knight with 2 out, and it'll bring up Wade Hefter.
And that's really got to hurt for Darren Knight. Again, working his way back to a 3-2 count, and he loses Joe Boyce.
Well, he came with 5 straight fastballs, and I think he almost had to try and get the curveball across there because Boyce had had some good rips at the fastball, and it was just a matter of time until he caught up with one. Tried to get the curveball over and missed low with it.
Wade Hefner now batting, and Hefter, nicknamed Whiskey. Some good lumber out there.
He played for the Coon Rapids Cardinals very recently, graduating in '89.
Probably one of the younger players on this Moichant team.
He's behind on the count, 0-1. Knight dealing. Takes it just high. Ball and a strike. Boyce at first, Wilner at third. 2 out, last of the first. The Moichants trying to draw first blood. Knight comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Up high, 2 balls and a strike.
In 30 pitches for the first inning, that's way too many, and Darren Knight's going to get tired out very quickly.
Here's a pop-up, shallow right field. Coming on is Leitner. He's there and has it for the out. So Leitner records all 3 putouts, but there's an awful lot of time in between. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left. 1 inning is complete. It's Hamel nothing and Coon Rapids nothing.
Well, leading off for the Hamel Hawks this inning, top of the second, will be the center fielder, Ron Van Krevlin, batting .340 with 16 home runs, so he has some good power as well.
Seems to be some pretty good power throughout both of these lineups, and especially with the way pitcher Darren Knight labored in the first, we may see some offense late in this one. Dainty misses with the curveball and falls behind 1-0. Dainty, a little bit of comparison for you, had to throw just 8 pitches to get through his half of the first, while Knight needed the 31 that Jerry mentioned.
It is a lot of pitches for a pitcher to have to throw in one inning.
Here's the 2-0 pitch from Dainty. Up high, and he's behind 3-0. He had an awfully long layoff there in the last half of the first. We'll see if he can regain his control that he had in the first inning.
That can really offset a pitcher who's in the groove.
3-0 pitch is right down the middle. 3-1 the count.
Too bad we don't have a clock on something like that. Dainty looks like he's really throwing some heat.
3-1 pitch is lifted in the air to center field. Wilner going back. This is hit a long way, and it's gone. So Van Krevlin takes Dainty out of the yard to straightaway center field, and Hamel jumps out to a 1-0 lead.
Well, they had 16 in the regular season, and that was 40 games. So that's a pretty good average, 16 home runs in 40 games. Take another look at it here as he hits that one right out. Right to almost a little left center, but not too much off the dead center mark. It's a long ways out there.
That's a real shot to take it out of there.
Well, and as we had somewhat guessed, the ball did seem to carry pretty well, too, to straightaway center. Doherty takes up high for a ball.
Doherty with 17 home runs this season, batting .350 for the Hawks. And Dainty may be a little bit shook up after that. He's coming in high and hard now.
Doherty a little upset with himself that he didn't make contact with that one. He had a pretty good cut at it. Curveball misses inside, 2-1. Dainty needs to get that curveball over for a strike. He's thrown it a couple of times, at least to show it to a hitter, but they've just been taking it because he really hasn't found the strike zone with it yet. Now he's behind again, 3-1, and Doherty in the same position Van Krevlin was in. He can just sit on something that he can drive. There it was, and he had a good cut at it, but fouled it back, and the count goes full.
Doherty again, a very imposing figure in the batter's box.
3-2 pitch, and he got him on strikes. So Dainty comes right back after surrendering the homer to Van Krevlin and strikes out Doherty for out number 1 here in the top half of the second inning.
Doherty was just behind that ball. That ball was moving, and it was high and hard, and Doherty just couldn't catch up to it.
It'll bring up the right fielder, Eddie Leitner. And there was a good curveball from Dainty, and Leitner was way out in front of it, falls behind 0-1.
And that ball just dropped out from the bottom. and fell right over the plate.
The 0-1 pitch just inside, 1-1. And Daney had gotten in somewhat of a pattern of starting hitters with a fastball, and I think that's probably what Leitner came up looking for and was way out in front of the curveball. Another curveball right back to Daney. He's got it. Flips to first, and there are 2 out.
Good play by Dainty. Heads up work for the pitcher to grab that ball.
Batting number 44, Rocky Boyce.
And here is the former Moichant, Rocky Boyce.
Last season, Rocky in their game had a couple of doubles right up the middle for the Moichants. He's batting .280 for the Hawks this season.
Fouls the first pitch down the third baseline. And Dainty has done a pretty good job coming right back after these hitters after surrendering the home run. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Kind of a hard curveball, misses outside, 1-1. There's a slow curve lifted in the air to deep left center field. Wilner going back, he can't get this one. It's off the base of the fence. Boyce is going to have to hustle to get to second, and he just beats the throw. So Boyce with a 2-out double, and Hamel threatens to add to the lead.
It's like I was mentioning before. If you take another look at it, drives looks like a low curveball. Actually, cut it kind of inside and low, drove it out to the track. And Irving with the tag, just a little bit late as Boyce gets his foot on the bag. Very close play at second.
A really good throw by Dave Wilner, and it was a very close play at second base.
It'll bring up the third baseman, Al Krebs, now with an RBI opportunity with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position.
Krebs batting .300 for the season for the Hawks.
Again, Dainty starts him with an off-speed pitch, and Krebs fouls it back. 0-1 the count. The 0-1 pitch. Taken for strike 2, and Krebs finds himself in a hole.
Now Dainty gets to decide what kind of pitch he gets to throw here. Good pitcher's pitch here.
Krebs fouls it back to stay alive. Well, this is where Dainty needs to get himself. He fell behind the first couple hitters of the inning and came back to strike out Doherty, but gave up the homer to Van Krevlin. One, 2 the count. Dainty comes set. The 1-2 pitch taken low, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a really good breaking ball, just a little bit low.
Yeah, it really snapped off there. Dainty really looking sharp with the breaking ball.
The 2-2 pitch. Misses outside, and Krebs has worked the count back full after falling behind 0-2.
Dainty trying to work that outside corner and trying to catch maybe the black on that one. Just missing it.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Curveball is lined into deep left center field. Wilner on the run, and he can't get this one. Boyce will score. Krebs digs into second, and back-to-back doubles with 2 out have added another run to the Hamel lead. It's now a 2-0 ball game.
Well, Krebs just took another inside, as you see the replay there. Wilner with a great dive, good effort trying to get there, and Brown having to throw it in. But Krebs took looked like another inside curve and just took that to left field. About the same spot that Boyce took the first one.
They're really giving Wilner a workout this inning out in center field. And here's the designated hitter, Dan McCarty. Swings and misses at the first one and falls behind 0-1.
McCarty's batting .400 for the Hawks this season. Not exactly sure how many at-bats he's had, but that .400 mark is pretty good.
Down low, but a nice block by Doug Dainty behind the plate. Keeps Krebs at second base. Now, one thing, he's the one player we've seen so far that doesn't have his name on his jersey, so that may be some indication of how much playing time he's had. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. Bauer has it, flips to Dainty, and the inning is finally over. But Hamel does some damage with 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors, and 1 man left. We've played an inning and a half. Our score, Hamel 2 and Coon Rapids nothing.
And again, Jeff Dainty falling into the same problem that Darren Knight had in the first inning. 27 pitches in the second inning by Jeff Dainty.
Yeah, that's got to hurt Dainty. He's more of a, he works very quick, and he's very deliberate, goes right at hitters, and that's one thing I think that the Moichants kind of like about Dainty. Maybe make him their staff ace, is that when he goes right at hitters, a lot of times, you know, your defense can just help you out. See the fans here all bundled up. It is chilly out tonight, but it's a good night for baseball. And Hamel Hawks now on top of the Moichants, 2-0. Moichants got to try to get some back here.
Well, and that cool air is lending itself to some power. Ball's carrying awfully well. Just a very slight breeze, as we mentioned, blowing out, but the ball really carries when you get that humidity out of the air.
Hi, Jules. How are you? Hi, Gary. You guys having fun?
For the Moichants here in the second, it'll be Schnaff, Ruse, and Brown.
Jeff Dainty so far with 20 strikes and 16 balls. And that's not quite exactly the ratio you want to see.
That's for sure.
Schnaff to lead things off. He's the designated hitter. Stands in against Darren Knight, who now had the same opportunity that Jeff Dainty did in the last of the first, with a chance to rest as his team forced the opposing pitcher to labor a little bit.
Gee, Terry Rich.
And here's the 0-1 pitch. Another foul ball out of play, and 0-2 the count. Knight into the windup. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hamel leading it 2-0. We're in the last half of the second.
And again, in comparison, Darren Knight with 23 strikes and 11 balls. That's a pretty good ratio.
Defensive swing on that one and a tapper back to the mound. Easy play for Knight.
And Knight's really settled down after that first batter.
That'll bring up the right fielder, Jeff Rule.
Batting number 22, Jeff Rule.
Rule's nickname is Big.
With 2 G's, no less.
2 G's no less, yeah. And I think the Moichants are hoping he'll come through big here now.
Here's the 1-0 pitch from Knight. Swing and a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. A ball and a strike. One pitch, another foul ball. One-two pitch, swung on and missed, and Rule goes down on strikes. First strikeout of the game for Knight.
Now batting number 7,
And again, Knight has really settled down. Even though he's had thrown a lot of pitches, He's gotten 5 of the last 6 batters out. Joe Boyce, the only other batter on base, and he really worked a walk.
And here's Scott Brown trying to get something going with 2 out, and he's quite a bit behind the fastball, and it's 0-1. Takes that one for called strike 2. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Well high, 1-2. Swung on and missed, and Knight records the last 2 outs on strikeouts. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. 2 complete. It's still the Hawks 2 and the Moichants nothing.
We're going to take a break here on CTV North Suburbs Sports, and we'll be back with more amateur baseball action.
5-year-old belly.
Top half of inning number 3. And Hamel sends the top of the order, and Dan Vandenberg, Tim Fleming, and Alex Bauer to face Jeff Dainty as Hamel tries to add to a 2-run lead. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Dainty. Taken for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vandehey flew to right his first time. He's 0 for 1. Takes that one up high, and he's ahead in the count 2-1. Curveball went around, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, he really got fooled on that one. Vandehey decided to bail out there at the last second, and it already...
A lot of motion on that curveball.
Yeah, a lot. Half the velocity, though.
And here's Dainty's 2-2 offering. Slicing foul down the right field line and out of play.
Way behind the fastball.
That's what a pitcher's able to do when he can set it up with a good off-speed pitch like Dainty did right there. Vandehey, who was way out in front of the off-speed pitch on the previous one, and then can't catch up with the fastball. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Slow curve, got him looking, and Vandehey knows it as he walks away. Strikeout number 2 for Dainty, and he gets the all-important leadoff hitter here in the 3rd.
Batting number 1, Tim Fleming.
And it'll bring up the second baseman, Tim Fleming. He popped to first baseman Dean Smith.
Another excellent curveball as he had Vanderhey really fooled on that pitch.
Really did. He didn't even. There was no argument there. Just turn around and walk back to your dugout.
Haney's pitch taken just high. 1 ball, no strikes.
Looks like Dainty really starting to work hard now.
Big curveball, and 1-1 the count. We just talked last inning about how he was going to have to find the strike zone with the curveball to be effective, and he has done it a couple of times here on the first 2 hitters in the 3rd inning.
Really froze him up too with that curveball. Looks like the outfield is playing Fleming straight away. A little bit shaded to the left out in left field.
Here's a ground ball to second. Easy play for Irving. He throws him out. And there are 2 away here in the top half of the 3rd.
Number 29, Alex Bauer.
And it'll bring up Alex Bauer, who hit one on a line to straightaway center his first time, right at the center fielder, Dave Wilner.
Bauer had 16 home runs during the regular season, a .480 average.
Curveball in there for a strike.
And again, Anthony, he's really finding the target with that curveball.
Excellent curveball.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. And he blows the fastball by him. 0-2 the count. And Dainty putting on a clinic on what you can do when you get ahead of the hitters. You get that first pitch for a strike, and you can do just about anything. You're in control of the at-bat then. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Slow curve is hit just foul down the 3rd baseline. And the count remains 0-2.
Jeff Dainty, a relatively quick worker, and the defense really likes to see that because that really keeps them in the game.
Yeah, they're not gonna get cold out there with Dainty on the mound. Like we said earlier, he goes right at a hitter. Let's take a good look at Alex Bauer.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. He got him. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Dainty, and both pitchers appear to have settled into a groove. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the last of the 3rd. It's still Hamel 2 and Coon Rapids 0.
Some clinic pitching put on by Jeff Dainty, mowing down the top 3 hitters of the Hamel Hawks. 1, 2, 3. Vanderhey and Bauer striking out.
Well, the winner of this game here between Coon Rapids and Hamel will go on to play Saturday, August 10th against the loser of this game and the winner of the Centennial Cannon Falls game. Centennial came into the Section 8 Class B tournament ranked number 3, and they will be going up against Cannon Falls, who was ranked number 6. That game will be played on the 7th, and then they will play the loser of tonight's game. So the winner of tonight's game will be going to the state championships because 2 teams are selected from this region to play. And so either way, the winner of this game will either end up 1 or 2. And so they will go to the state championships.
Cannon Falls did not play in the 5-team conference, but because they have an automatic berth in the state tournament since they are the host, they wanted to get some games in between the end of the regular season and the state tournament to keep them fresh.
So leading off for the Moichants this inning is going to be a good friend of mine, Mr. Dale Irving.
It'll be Irving, Wilner, and Smith for the Moichants here in the last of the 3rd as they stare at a 2-run deficit. Irving, the only man who has not faced Knight yet this evening. Check swing foul, and he's behind in the count 0-1.
Dale Irving likes batting lower in the order because he sees mostly fastballs, and he is a fastball hitter.
Likes to wear that red Michael Jordan wristband, too.
Takes that one up high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Knights 1-1 pitch is fouled out of play down the right field line.
Irving with actually with a very good on-base average because he walks a lot. Very good eye, and if you'll notice when he does bat, he crouches down quite a bit. And for some reason, I don't know, pitchers just when they look at that, they makes them think that the strike zone is smaller, and they try to aim it a little bit more.
A la Ricky Henderson.
1-2 pitch misses high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, you can also catch an umpire thinking a little bit sometimes. It is a mental game with the pitcher as well, but a lot of umpires can be misled by a man in a crouch. Irving fouls this one out of play, and the count remains 2-2.
Dale Irving coming into the game with one of the better averages for the Moichants, hitting around .330.
Some pretty decent speed, too, on the base pass, so it'd be good to get him on base in front of Wilner.
Here's a line drive into left center field. This one's going to be in the gap and go all the way to the wall. Irving pulls into second with a double. So the Moichants can get the leadoff man aboard here in the third. They had Wilner aboard with a leadoff double in the first, couldn't get him around, and now they'll get another chance with Irving at second and nobody out.
There's another look at it there as Irving just drove that into the power alley out there in left center.
An excellent pitch for Irving to hit right in his power zone, and he drove it to left center field.
Maybe we can get another look at that again just for posterity's sake. That was a terrific hit by Irving. He just drilled it. I mean, it was low in his what do they call that? Your swing there. There's the black and white version. That's the non-colorized classic version there. Irving on second.
With nobody out.
First pitch to Wilner is grounded as short. Irving will have to go back to second. And a nice play by Vandenberg to retire Wilner at first. Nothing Irving can do on that one as Wilner really not moving the runner around as he pulls the ball to the left side. And he's retired. Now there's one away. Irving still at second, and now Dean Smith the batter. And the Moichants, same thing they did in the first inning, not able to move that runner to third with one out.
An excellent play by the shortstop, Dan Vanderhey, reaching over to his right, backhanding it, and making a nice play to first.
Very good play. Well, the Oz is going to have to try to do something here to move number 6, Dale Irving, around. Irving with very good speed on the bases. He's got several stolen bases in the season.
Smith lined to right his first time. He's 0 for 1. He's ahead in the count here, 1-0.
The Oz with some good power himself.
Swings and misses at that one, 1-1 the count. Knight trying to wriggle out of another jam here in the third.
Again, this game very important because the loser will have to play a very tough game against, in all probability, the Centennial Chiefs.
And Centennial, the number 3 seed, coming into here.
Here's a ground ball to second. Easy play for Fleming to retire Smith at first. Moving to third on the play is Irving, and there it is evidenced once again the Moichants' inability to move that runner to third with one away, and Irving not able to score on the ground ball. Now he's at third, but again they have the runner at third with 2 out. And now Doug Dainey, the batter, he also flew to right in the first, so he's 0 for 1, but there's a situation where Wilner really needs to hit that ball to the right-hand side so Irving can get to third with 1 away. Then he's able to probably score on the ground out by Smith.
Centennial finishing the conference season with a record of 8-4, again second only to the Moichants and Hamel, so they'll give the loser of this game a really tough fight.
And coming up through the losers bracket, you find that teams play outside of themselves quite a bit. Dainty takes a huge cut.
And the count even up at a ball and a strike. Irving at third, 2 out. We're in the last of the third. And Hamel leading it 2-0. Knight's pitch is up high, 2 balls and a strike. With Joe Boyce waiting on deck, Knight really wants to come after Dainty here. He does not want to have to face Boyce with 2 runners on. Two 1 pitch, swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dainty trying to get his team on the scoreboard here. Two pitches fouled back.
I think that one went through the net, the gate back here. It's hit so hard. The Moichants are fouling them back.
Knight takes a long look, comes set, and here's his 2-2 offering. Another foul back, but Dainty really with a defensive swing.
The Moichants would love to see Dainty either get a hit or a walk, and so Joe Boyce could get a chance to take his cuts. Boyce walked last time up. Take a look at Dale Irving on third base.
Strike 3 called, and Dainty goes down looking. No runs, a hit, and the Moichants fail to capitalize on Irving's leadoff double. We have played 3 innings. It's Hamel 2 and Coon Rapids nothing.
Again, both of these pitchers having really high pitch counts so far. Darren Knight throwing 60 pitches, 42 strikes, 18 balls, and Jeff Dainty throwing 49 pitches thus far. But again, both pitchers seem to have settled down and were very impressive in the third.
For Hamel here in the fourth, it'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Van Krevlin, Doherty, and Leitner.
Van Krevlin, of course, hitting the round tripper last time up to bat. So this is going to be the meat of the order here for the Hawks. And Dainty will try to work through them, and maybe, hopefully, he's settled down enough to get through them without any damage this inning.
Well, his problem the first time around was, of course, when he fell behind Van Krevlin, and it's tough to pitch from behind, especially against power hitters, and Van Krevlin made him pay by hitting one out over the center field fence.
You know, the tough thing about this lineup as well, Anthony, is he's got 4 or 5 power hitters in a row there, and you really can't just pitch around one to pitch to another one. And you've got to go at the hitter and hope that either your pitch, is too fast for him, or you're, too quick for him with the bender, or that your defense can catch up to a ball that's hit. So take a look at the hero of the Moichants half of inning last inning. Mr. Irving got that double. Nice hit up into the power alley in left center.
Well, here's Ron Van Krevlin. And we'll see what Dainty has in mind for him this time.
It's an interesting hit he had last time he hit that home run. He kind of fisted it out over to the left center side.
Big curveball, and Van Krevlin was way out in front of it. 0-1 the count.
And we're seeing that from Dainty, Anthony, all the time. He's kind of starting off hitters with that slow curve.
Well, he has to watch it, or he's going to get into the same pattern he was in early in the game when he was starting everyone with a fastball. Comes with another breaking pitch and called strike 2. So now he's ahead in the count, 0-2.
A lot different than last inning, or the last time he faced Krevlin, when he was behind him in the count.
The 0-2 pitch just inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Nice place for that pitch. Wouldn't be surprised if they aim for that same place.
Off-speed pitch has popped up.
Nice curveball.
Irving calls for it at second base. He's got it, one away.
Again, Dainty's really gotten control of his curveball, and he's
Now batting number
really
7,
throwing it effectively.
Sean Doherty.
This will bring up Sean Doherty. Doherty struck out his first time. He's 0 for 1. Dainty into the windup and the pitch. Check swing. They appeal to first, but they say no swing. Swings and misses at that one. Doherty struggling to catch up to Dainty's fastball in his first 2 at-bats of the night. Swings and misses, and he goes down on strikes for the second time. And this will bring up Eddie Leitner, who tapped back to the mound his first time. He's 0 for 1.
Well, Anthony, if that was a tap, he hit it pretty hard last time. A great play by Dainty off the mound. I don't think Eddie taps anything.
He hits this one well into left center field. It's in the park, though. Wilner has got it. He makes the catch, and the side is retired. A 1-2-3-4, and that's 7 in a row retired by Jeff Dainty. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We go to the last half of the 4th, but before we do, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more amateur baseball.
I think it's a way to give something back to a sport that's been good to you. I think it's a way to stay involved in a sport that you enjoy. And I think it's a way to develop your own self-image and confidence and feel that you're really contributing to something that's important to kids.
Last half of the 4th on the way. Hamel leading Coon Rapids 2-0. I'm Anthony Lopano along with Tony Vietti and Jerry Otto to call the action for you, as both pitchers appear to have settled into a groove here, and Hamel in front by a score of 2-0. Knight faces Joe Boyce to lead off the Coon Rapids 4th. Boyce milked him for a walk back in the 1st. Hefter on deck and Schnapp to follow. This one's inside and it hit him. So Boyce trots to first, and for the 3rd time in 4 innings, Coon Rapids has the leadoff man aboard. Taking a look at it, appeared to get him in the leg. So here's Wade Hefter. He flew to right to end the 1st inning. He's 0 for 1.
The Moichants would sure like to get something going here. They gotta move their runners around, get some points on the board. They don't want to play catch-up ball the whole time.
All the hits in the game thus far, extra base hits, 4 doubles, and a home run.
Hefter has a big rip at that one and comes up empty. 0-1 the count. But you need to take advantage of the situations the Moichants have had. 3 innings out of 4 with the leadoff man on. 2 of them were doubles. And they have just simply not capitalized on some golden opportunities here in the early going against Darren Knight. And now Knight appears to have settled in a little bit too after struggling in the first. But here's a rocket hit to right field. No chance for Leitner on this one. It goes all the way to the wall. They will hold Boyce at third, and Hefter slides into second with a double. And the Moichants are in business now here in the fourth with 2 in scoring position and nobody out.
A really nice hit by Wade Hefter. That's the first shot that's really gone the other way.
That was a outside fastball. Looked like it was going to be outside, or inside rather, on Wade, and he just kind of turned on it and pulled it right down the line. And he really spanked that thing.
And this is the perfect situation for the Merchants. Again, runners at second and third, both in scoring position with nobody out. A great chance to tie this game up.
Again, Boyce, not being able to score because, again, the ball was hit very hard and it got out there quickly to the outfielder, Eddie Leitner.
They're appealing there that Joe Boyce missed second base as he made the turn to head to third, but nothing doing with that call. But now the Moichants' job has been done for them, what they failed to do in each of the first 2 scoring opportunities, and that's to get a runner to third with less than 2 out. Here they've got it with nobody out, and Schnaff with a chance to pick up an easy RBI. He grounded back to the mound his first time. He's 0 for 1. Rule on deck. Brown would follow him as the Moichants with a chance to draw even here in the fourth.
Well, you'd look for Schnapp to at least hit the ball to the right side of the field.
Takes that one for a strike, 0-1 the count.
If not the outfield, probably get a sacrifice fly.
Exactly. Moichants have got to play smart ball here now and try to work those runners around into score.
Hamel is going to concede the run on a ground ball. The infield's playing back. Swing and a miss, and Schnapp now down on the count, 0-2. Knight really needs a strikeout in this situation or some type of an infield out in which the runners are not able to move up, but they're in at the corners but back in the middle infield, so they appear that they will just go to first and concede the run here with nobody out.
That's what I was just going to say. Al Krebs right even with third base.
Well, one thing that has been very impressive throughout the whole game, both catchers have done a great job of keeping the balls out in front of them and not allowing runners to run the bases on them.
Knight comes set. The 1-2 pitch is popped up. Shallow right field. It's in foul ground. And over to make the catch is the second baseman Fleming, and the runners have to hold. So just what we were talking about, a big infield out for Knight and the Hamel Hawks. Now there's one away, and it'll bring up the right fielder, Jeff Rule. Now we'll see if Hamel decides to pull the infield in with one out. It doesn't appear that they will. They're going to play it straight up and even concede the run with one away. Rule struck out his first time. He's 0 for 1. First pitch is up high. 1-0 the count. Rule takes a called strike.
That one looked a little low.
Look a little low.
1 ball, 1 strike the count.
Don't have a great angle from here, but
That was down right around knee level.
This one's popped back foul and out of play, and the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This is an excellent chance for the Moichants, and they really can't let this one get away.
you know that they've had their chances in the last couple innings with the runner on third, but they've finally got a runner on third with only 1 out.
Rule takes up high, and the count evens up at 2-2. I'm a bit surprised that Hamel is not pulling the infield in here. With nobody out, it's probably a smart play to go to first, but with one out, you'd think they'd pull them in and try and cut the run down at home plate. They have elected not to, however, and here's the 2-2 pitch, and Rule goes down on strikes. So Knight is 2/3 of the way out of the jam, and he has done an excellent job thus far. Scott Brown will now stand in, who also struck out his first time, but second and third, nobody out, and he's induced an infield pop-out and then struck out Rule. So a nice job of pitching thus far by Knight. It's up to Scott Brown to see if he can capitalize for the Moichants.
Knight, again, pitching in and pitching out of the danger. And the Moichants, again, failing to get someone in.
Brown takes that one.
They're kind of stuck in the same position they were at before with someone on third and 2 outs.
There's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. One and one the count.
That was a really good pitch that Scott Brown could have got a hold of.
Knight comes set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-2 the count.
The last two batters swinging right through the fastball.
Not catching up to it.
Knight comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Darren Knight pitches out of trouble in the fourth. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 are left in scoring position. We have played 4, and Hamel continues to lead it 2-0.
Now the Moichants are kind of beating themselves right now. They're not playing bad ball. They're just not moving those guys around on the bases, not getting the hits when they need them. And they've had the runners. They just can't seem to get them around. They're even up on hits, 3 apiece. So.
And again, even though Darren Knight's thrown close to 80 pitches, 53 of them for strikes, he's still been pretty effective.
Rock.
For Hamel here in the 5th, it'll be Boyce, Krebs, and McCarty.
Joe Boyce led it off for the Moichants in the 4th, and Rocky Boyce led it off for Hamel in the 5th.
Well, it looks like Rocky Boyce is going to start it off here for the Hamel Hawks, and he started it off last time he batted. Got a double.
Boyce and Krebs, first 2 hitters of the inning, each doubled to left center, almost carbon copies of each other back in the 2nd inning. Couple of long runs for center fielder Dave Wilner. First pitch is a curveball, and that's pulled down and gets by the third baseman Hefter. And a base hit for Rocky Boyce to start things off here in the 5th.
But Boyce looked like he was expecting that curveball that Dainty was coming with, and Anthony maybe, he fell into the, as you look at shot of Julie Irving, a wife of the second baseman for the Moichants, Dale Irving. Maybe she had some chicken or something earlier in the night there. But looks like he was waiting on that curveball coming in for the first pitch.
We had mentioned that Dainty was getting in somewhat of a pattern of starting all the hitters with a curveball, and Boyce was right on it. Bit of an advantage, too, for Boyce having caught Dainty a year ago.
That could be.
Here's Al Krebs, the third baseman. Krebs, as we said, doubled his first time. Boyce at first, nobody out. Top half of the 5th, and Hamel leading it 2-0. Here's Dainty's pitch. Big bender. Just missed, and the count evens up at 1-1.
Dean Smith is holding Boyce at first. And there's a move. He's in there safe. I was going to say we haven't seen a move by Dainty yet. But you know what happens when you say something like that? That's when it happens.
Krebs fouls this one back, and Dainty now ahead in the count 1-2. The 1-2 pitch just outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Krebs was kind of dancing in the batter's box there, not knowing if that was going to be a strike or not.
Strike 3 called and a snap throw to first, and Boyce just gets back, but strikeout number 5 for Dainty, and there's one away here in the 5th, and it'll bring up Dan McCarty, the designated hitter.
5 strikeouts, no walks so far for Jeff Dainty.
Just gave up the 1 home run and the 2 doubles back to back. Otherwise, he's pitched a very good game. That ball got away from first baseman Dean Smith. It was actually thrown on the outside of the runner, Boyce. And Smith with very good wheels getting back to that ball, and Boyce only getting to go to second. But Dainty threw that ball on the opposite side of the runner, and we'll have to score that probably an error, I would say, on the pitcher. Dainty, as you take another look at it, there is on the opposite side of the runner, Smith not being able to reach it.
And you see Boyce, he's thinking about trying for third on that play and took a big turn at second, but Smith hustling after it. Holds him at second, but the runner's in scoring position now for Dan McCarty. Swings and misses at that one, and it's 0-1.
I don't think that Dean Smith was even ready for a ball to be thrown over there. It looks like he was kind of just getting ready for the batter, and Dainty just decided to throw without any kind of eye contact or anything over there.
Curveball freezes McCarty, and it's now 0-2. Swing and a miss, and he gets him on strikes.
The high heat coming in there, and McCarty just kind of lackadaisically throwing the bat through the strike zone.
Dainty coming back really strong after that error at first base.
That's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Dan Vandehey. He's flown out and watched the 3rd strike last time up.
He's 0 for 2 with an RBI opportunity here. Boyce at second, 2 out in the 5th. Curveball tapped, and it's through into left field for a base hit. They're waving Boyce home around third. There will be a play. Brown's throw is up the line, and Boyce scores. Vandehey takes second when the throw comes through to the plate, and Hamel now leads it 3-0. Vandehey just tapped it through the left side.
It almost looked like Hefner could have made a play on that at third, and then he kind of just stopped for some reason. Like, I don't know if he thought that Joe Boyce could get to it from behind. He just kind of stopped, and the ball got through. It's like he was thinking he had to get back and cover his base for some reason.
And if Brown had made a good throw to the catcher, I'm sure that Boyce would have been out at the plate, but instead the throw was up the line, and the runner scores, and it's 3-0.
And here's Fleming. He's way out in front of the curveball, but it misses for ball 1. Vandehey at second, 2 out, top of the 5th. And Hamel threatening to add to a 3-run lead. Bauer waiting on deck. He wants to get Fleming here to end the inning. He does not want to face Bauer and Van Krevelen with runners on.
Fleming didn't like the call and goes back and has a little chat with the home plate umpire.
Dainty comes set. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Strike 2 called. 1-2 the count. Well, it was Dainty's error that actually has cost him the run, though. It was his error on the throw that allowed Boyce to go to second. And if he was at first base, it's just a simple single by Vandehey, and we've probably got runners at first and second here with 2 out. And instead, we've got a runner at second and a run already home. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Fly ball lifted into right field. Rule is under it. He's got it, and the side is out. But Hamel adds to the lead. 1 run on 2 hits. 1 Moichant error and 1 man left. We have played 4.5, and the score now, Hamel 3 and Coon Rapids nothing.
I hate to say that, hate to see that if Dainty falls into that trap of keep throwing those the same ball first time with those slow curves coming in. That's what has got him in trouble the first time. That looks like what got him in trouble the second time. Rocky Boy's just waiting on that first pitch curveball. What do we have for pitch totals now, Jerry?
Well, you finally caught him off guard, Tony.
Well, 73 pitches for Jeff Dainty and 78 in only 4 innings for Darren Knight.
So both pitches throwing a lot of, having to throw a lot.
Definitely, you don't like your starter going over 100 pitches, and definitely not over 120, so I'm sure both of these starters will probably come out around the 7th or 8th inning just on the number of pitches they've thrown.
But you have to remember also, though, Darren Knight threw 31 in the first inning, and since then he has really settled down and really hasn't been tested. There was the double by Hefter back in the 4th, but other than that, he has really looked sharp, and he's now working with a 3-run lead. He can just throw strikes and force the Moichants to put the ball in play themselves. He doesn't need to be pretty up there.
There's Mrs. Irving as her husband, Mr. Irving, Dale Irving, number 6, steps up for the Moichants. Last time up, he doubled to the left center power alley.
Takes the first pitch high and inside, 1-0 the count. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Hamel. No runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Moichants. Coon Rapids has left 5 runners on through the first 4 innings. Irving takes that one for a strike, 1-1. They've had the leadoff man aboard, as we've mentioned, 3 out of the first 4 innings. 2 of those were doubles. The other inning, it was Boyce being hit, but he was quickly moved to third on a double by Hefter. They've had runners in scoring position with nobody out in 3 of the 4 innings and haven't had a run yet.
Well, it seems to me the Knight's having a little bit of problems with his fastball right now. The two fastballs he's thrown so far to Irving have both been very high.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count evens up at 2-2.
And threw that one right back into the strike zone.
Knight into the windup. Here's the 2-2 pitch, just outside, and the count goes full.
Again, the Moichants would welcome a walk right here. They just need to get runners on base so they can knock them in.
Irving fouls this one back. Count remains full. Irving with a real compact swing.
Very quick, good contact hitter. Puts the bat on the ball.
Here's the 3-2 pitch from Knight. Down low, and Irving's aboard with a walk. So there it is, the leadoff man on for the 4th time in 5 innings. And now they'll see if they can move him around as Dave Wilner comes up. Wilner, 1 for 2, doubled to lead off the first and then grounded to short in the 3rd inning. It'll be a good time here for some play. Not necessarily a straight steal, but some type of a hit and run play to try and get Irving to 3rd.
Well, Irving again with very good speed on the bases. And of course, Willie with excellent speed himself. So that'd be 2 very quick Moichants right now on the diamond.
Wilner takes inside for ball 1. Light toss over to first. Irving easily back.
Jerry's over here trying to steal signs, thinking he might have seen the hit and run sign.
Wilner wraps this one foul.
Good
One
thing.
ball, one strike. Irving was running with the pitch.
Good thing we're not live, Jerry. We're giving away our signals, giving away the Moichant signals.
Irving at first, nobody out, last of the fifth. The Moichants trying to take a bite out of a 3-run deficit. Irving bluffs going. Wilner tried to lay the bunt down. Here's a snap throw to first, and they got him. Nice play by the catcher, Rocky Boyce, as he picks Irving off first. And once again, the Moichants' leadoff man is wasted.
Well, it looked like Irving was going, and he looked down at Wilner because it looked like it was supposed to be some kind of hit.
So like a bunting run there.
And Wilner didn't. He pulled back, didn't make connection, and Irving stuck out there high and dry.
It was a tough pitch to bunt for Wilner. It was down low and away. He took a stab at it but couldn't get it. Irving bluffed running with the pitch, but not able to break back to the bag fast enough when Wilner missed the bunt. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled back.
So the Moichants keep running themselves out of this game.
2-2 curveball misses high, and it's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the 3-2 offering is fouled back.
And Dave Wilner, again, right on it.
Fouling that one straight back. Just missing it by a little bit there.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Curveball is hit high and deep to left center field. This one has a chance. It is gone. And Dave Wilner gets the Moichants on the scoreboard. It's now a 3-1 ball game.
And it should have been a 3-2 ball game. That really hurts to get down, picked off first base.
Yep, that really hurts the Moichants, is Irving getting picked off first base, and then Willie coming back with that home run. Moichants have got to be thinking smart.
So Wilner continues to swing the hot bat, his 4th home run in the last 2 ball games. And the Moichants are on the board. Now it'll be interesting to see how Darren Knight reacts. Had a chance to see Jeff Daney come back after giving up a home run.
Another look at this home run. The left center, it looks kind of like where most of the balls have been hit tonight.
And that was a shot.
And here's the first baseman, Dean Smith. Smith 0 for 2, line to right in the first, grounded to second in the third. Smith takes a strike, and the count evened up at a ball and a strike. They play him pretty much straight away, although Smith has gone to the right side each of his first 2 at-bats.
Smith as well has got very decent power to all fields.
Swings and misses at this one. He's now behind in the count 1-2. Knight stares in. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Here's a fly ball hit deep into right field, but an easy play for Leitner. Appeared to hit it better than it actually carried. When it left the bat, I thought that he had a shot to get it over Leitner's head in right field, but kind of hung up a little bit, and Leitner hauls it in for out number 2, and here's Doug Dainty, who's also 0 for 2. He flew to right in the first and struck out looking in the third. Knight into the windup and misses outside with a curveball, 1-0.
Well, the Moichants have got to keep pecking away. I mean, these hits have got to start falling in for them, and They've got a couple innings left to go, but really got to start thinking about putting some hits back to back.
Two and 0 the count. Daney now sitting back on something he can drive. Got it, but missed it. And it's now 2 and 1.
Darren Knight with already 100 pitches, and it's only the 5th inning.
Daney takes that for a strike, 2 and 2. Knight has thrown a lot of pitches, but he really doesn't look like he's lost anything off the fastball, at least to this point.
Definitely, he's still throwing just about as fast as he did in the first 2 innings.
Just missed outside with that one. The count goes full.
He's still got a lot of movement in that pitch.
There's the 3-2 pitch. Swinging a foul back. Once again, the 3-2 pitch is up high. Daney draws a 2-out walk. And now Joe Boyce will bat with a runner aboard here in the last of the 5th.
And that's really some nice patience to see out of Doug Dainty. A nice high fastball, and he took it to get on to first base.
Very good patience and a good at-bat, actually. Fouled off 2 or 3 balls to work that walk out of there.
And now Boyce, who has walked and been hit with a pitch, does not have an official at bat yet in this one. Takes that one for a strike, and 0-1 the count. This one's low. 1-1. Doug Daney aboard at first. 2 out. We're in the bottom of the 5th. And the Moichants have broken onto the scoreboard here in the 5th, but they still trail it 3-1. The 1-1 pitch is hit well, but foul down the right field line.
That one really hooked foul.
He tagged it, too. That was a... That'd have gone out probably in any part of this park.
Knight stares in. He's ahead in the count 1-2. Time is called. And the 1-2 pitch misses low. Nice block by Rocky Boyce.
Yeah, Boyce doing a good job behind the plate.
Two pitch. He got him looking. And Rocky Boyce runs away triumphantly.
Knowing what his brother can probably do to the ball.
But for the Moichants in the 5th, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left. They have left 6. We've played 5, and the score now, Hamel 3 and Coon Rapids 1.
And the Moichants still kind of running themselves out of the game, as we've found them doing throughout the whole game. They just, I don't know, they just can't keep something together. You know, they'll have an error, like for instance with the Rocky Boyce on first base, and they throw the ball away, and then he ends up scoring that extra run. Irving getting picked off of first base, and then Willie hitting a home run right after that. The Moichants have just got to start putting stuff together and playing smart. Still anyone's game. We're just in the top of the 6th inning.
Well, a couple of pickoff plays at first. The 2-run swing, really, in that 5th inning, because the errant pickoff attempt by Jeff Dainty set up Hamel's run in the top of the inning, and then with the pickoff of Irving at first, right before the homer by Wilner, that cost Coon Rapids a run. So Couple of pickoff plays. If they go the other way, we've got a 2-2 ball game, and instead it's 3-1 for Hamel.
Darren Knight was 70 strikes and 39 balls for a total of 109 pitches.
It'll be Bauer, Van Krevlin, and Doherty to bat for Hamel here in the 6th.
The real meat of the order for the Hamel Hawks.
Bauer hit the ball hard his first time and lined out to center, but then struck out on 3 pitches in the 3rd. Dainty now just trying to keep his team in it, give his hitters a chance. They finally broke onto the scoreboard against Knight in the last of the 5th, and now he needs to get his team back in the dugout quickly here in the 6th. And the curveball is fouled back. 0-1 the count.
Bauer was looking for the curveball, too. He just missed it.
But he kept that pitch down, and Bauer could only foul it back.
Here's another curveball, and this is laced into left field for a base hit. So Bauer with a leadoff single in the 6th. Hit number 6 for the Hawks. And it'll bring up Ron Van Krevlin, who homered in the 2nd and then popped to 2nd in the 4th.
And I don't see anyone warming up for the Moichants at the moment. They do have a couple pitchers still on hand. Kip Jacobson, one of their pitchers, Perry Seidel as well, but and Chris Jones. So got a couple of pitchers still in the open.
Oh, Van Krevlin just out in front of that one. He hit it a long way, but foul down the right field line.
Chris Jones went to college all the way in Wyoming.
And was playing ball for the Moichants.
Kip Jacobson pitched almost the full game with a 10-2 win over Cannon Falls.
Probably would not be ready to play today. Although he's had, what, 3-4 days? That was on the 3rd, I think. So he's had 3 days.
There's the 1-1 pitch, and Van Krevlin out in front of it again. 2 balls and a strike.
To me, it seems like Dainty has lost a little bit of the snap off his fastball, and the curveballs aren't breaking off as much as they had been in the earlier innings.
Well, he has either lost something off the fastball or he's been trying to take something off of it to Van Krevlin, because he hasn't thrown the good fastball that we saw earlier in the game, that's for sure.
Although with the way that Krevlin has swung the bat the last couple times, it might be a good thing that he didn't throw it faster.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a tapper back to the mound. This could be 2 to 2nd for 1. The relay double play.
Nice double play and a good job by Jeff Dainty. And Joe Boyce coming right across the bag for a throw at first and a tailor-made double play.
So the Hamel base runner is erased, and it'll bring up Sean Doherty, who has been a strikeout victim each of his first 2 times up. Swings and misses at that one, and Dainty is quickly ahead in the count once again.
And that one looked like he had some more gusto on it again.
I'll throw a cut fastball to Van Krevlin.
Blows it by Doherty again, and it's 0-2.
Doherty might take this as a personal offense if he gets struck out for the 3rd time.
Dainty misses well high with that one, 1-2. 2 out, nobody on. Top half of the 6th, and Hamel in front 3-1. The 1-2 pitch, slow curve, misses. The 2-2 pitch. Check swing foul. Doherty didn't mean to swing. Pitch a little bit up in the strike zone. And the 2-2 offering once again is pop foul, straight back and out of play. And the count rides along at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
think Doherty's talking to himself, saying he's not going to strike out this time.
The 2-2 pitch. Tapper foul. Defensive swing out of Doherty. And the count remains 2-2. Two-two pitch, fouled back again. So Doherty continues to battle. But he has fouled off a couple of good pitches to hit from Dainty. Here's a curveball, struck him out.
That
So
froze him in his stance.
Dainty throws 5 or 6 straight fastballs and then comes with a slow curve, and Doherty is down on strikes for the 3rd time in the game. Number 7 overall for Dainty. And the top half of the 6th is over. No runs, a hit. Nobody left. We go to the last of the 6th, and it's still Hamel 3 and Coon Rapids 1.
Coon Rapids is really going to have to start putting something together here as Knight again takes the hill for the Hawks. And I thought we might see someone else, but looks like they're going to stick with Knight right now. And coming up for the Moichants will be Wade Hefter, and then also Jeff Dainty and Jeff Rule. Mark Schnaff, rather, they're designated here instead of Jeff Dainty.
Jeff Dainty sort of reminds me of Kevin Tappaney, who pitched for the Twins last night. Again, a very quick worker. Throws the ball right across the plate, and 7 strikeouts and no walks. That's excellent control for a pitcher.
That's funny, Jerry. I was going to say the same thing. As you see, some of the Moichant backers there pounding on their, have got their own platform on top of their truck there. Some Moichant fans out here in the brisk August evening.
But a perfect night for baseball. Unfortunately, it hasn't been perfect thus far for the Moichant hitters against Darren Knight. They trail at 3-1. Hefter, Schnaff, and Rule to bat here in the bottom of the 6th. Knight's first pitch is taken for a strike. Hefter flew to right to end the 1st inning and then doubled in the 4th. So he's 1 for 2. Swings, and it's a high chopper to 3rd. Krebs has it and throws him out, 1 away. This will bring up the designated hitter, Mark Schnaff. Schnaff 0 for 2, grounded back to the mound in the 2nd and then popped to 2nd in the 4th.
And it appears as though we're going to get some bullpen action over on the Hamel side.
Still haven't seen any on the Moichant side yet.
Knight gets the first one over for a strike to Schnaff.
The bottom half of the order for the Moichants hasn't been too sterling yet, except for their number 9 hitter, Dale Irving. Number 6, 7, and 8 have not gotten on base yet.
Here's the 1-1 pitch from Knight. High and away, 2 balls and a strike. Knight was just sailing along until all of a sudden in the 5th, walked Irving to start the inning.
A big
And
swing.
then after he was picked up, Wilner homered.
I see a really big swing by Mark Schnaff.
There's the 2-2 pitch. Curveball grounded to short. Vandehey has it and gets him by a step.
Nice play on a short hop by Vandehey.
So 2 out, nobody on, and Jeff Rule will be the batter. Rule has struck out in each of his first 2 trips. Once in the 2nd inning and then again in the 4th. Swings and misses and falls behind 0-1. takes that one for a strike. 0-2 the count. Swing and a miss, and Knight gets him for the third time. Strikeout number 7 for Darren Knight, and a very quick 6th inning for the Moichants. We have played 6. Hamel leads at 3-1, and we'll be right back after this.
So, how was the big date?
Okay.
Just okay?
Well, he's not Mike.
Oh, you have to get over this. It's been a year.
You know, I could have stopped him. I knew he was too drunk to drive. I was afraid to embarrass him in front of his friends. Why didn't I do something?
Look, you'll find somebody like Mike.
Maybe, but I want Mike.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand.
Top half of the 7th inning. Hamel batting with a 3-1 lead, and Eddie Leitner grounds an 0-1 pitch down to first base. Dean Smith takes it unassisted, so there's one away, and it brings up the catcher, Rocky Boyce. And Boyce has done some damage tonight for Hamel. He doubled and scored in the 2nd, then singled and came around to score in the 5th after he was able to advance to 2nd on a costly throwing error by the pitcher, Jeff Dainty.
Boyce coming back to haunt his teammates, and he lifts a fly ball out into right field.
Struggling with it for a moment is Rule, but then he makes the catch. And there are 2 outs for the third baseman, Al Kreb.
Kreb is 1 for 2 tonight. He had a double his first time up, and then he struck out watching, actually, a breaking ball from Jeff Dainty.
Kreb drove home the Hawks' 2nd run back in the 2nd inning. Swings and misses, 0-1. The 0-1 curveball, check swing, called strike, and it's 0-2.
Again, both pitchers have settled down nicely.
Again, both kind of gone through their settling down phases twice now.
There's Dainty's 0-2 pitch. He blows it by him. So 1, 2, 3, 7th, and it's stretch time here at Castle Field. 6.5 are in the books, and it's Hamel 3 and Coon Rapids 0.
Now, the Moichants have really got to get something going now, going into the bottom of the 7th inning. They're going to be starting off with Scott Brown, and then Dale Irving, then the top of the order, Dave Wilner. And they'd like to get some people on base so that Wilner gets back up and can either hit another home run or get some runners into scoring position, move them around. They got to get some points on the board.
Only 7 pitches that inning by Jeff Dainty. He's only up to 95. 67 strikes, 28 balls. After sort of a rough start, that's an excellent ratio right there.
We probably just saw 2 of the best innings of pitching, one from each side. Knight in the bottom of the 6th, and then Dainty in the top of the 7th. Was the first time Knight had retired the side in order since the 2nd inning, and for Dainty the first time since the 4th.
Taking a look at number 7, Scott Brown, the left fielder for the Moichants.
And he is also a pitcher, as it said on the screen.
Brown has struck out in each of his 2 trips, once in the 2nd and then again in the 4th. Knight got a big strikeout when he struck Brown out back in the 4th inning with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 out. One of the many threats the Moichants had early in the ballgame. And Knight's pitch, up high for ball 1. We had talked that we thought we may see some relief pitchers by this time in the game, but really both pitchers have looked just as strong the last couple of innings as they did early in the game. Brown has a pretty good hack at it, but fouls it back, and it's 1-1. There's the 1-1 pitch. Slow curve over for a strike. 1-2 the count. Three, 6-0 for the Hawks. 1-4-1 for the Moichants, and the 1-2 pitch is inside. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strikeout number 8 for Darren Knight. And that's the third time that Scott Brown has gone down on strikes. And it'll bring up the second baseman, Dale Irving, who's had a perfect night thus far with a double in the third and a walk in the fifth.
The 7 and 8 hitters for the Moichants. Jeff Rule and Scott Brown with 6 of the 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, having a rough night down there. And hopefully Dale can get something going for the Moichants.
Fouls this one back, and it's 0-1. Irving, of course, was picked off back in the fifth, right in front of Wilner's homer, but has been on base each of his 2 trips. Curveball on the inside corner, and it's 0-2. Knight into the windup. The 0-2 pitch has Irving jumping out of his shoes as he pops one foul. Out of play down the first base side.
Trying to guard the plate. Irving's got to get something going here. Got someone in the fish. Oh, fan got a ball there out there. Souvenir.
Here's a little tapper. Knight off the mound and throws Irving out. So there are 2 outs in the 7th, and it'll bring up the top of the order in Dave Wilner, who has enjoyed a bit of a power surge as of late. 3 homers in the last round, and then tonight with a double and a home run in 3 trips.
Well, the Moichants sure could use some more power right now.
Curveball is pulled just foul down the third base line.
Well, warming up for the Hamel Hawks, number 31, John Cosgrove, one of the relief pitchers, and also number 33, Mike Pavleka.
Mike Pavelka, former Gopher.
Pavleka.
Pavelka.
Same thing. Both relief pitchers warming up in the bullpen.
Knight stares in, and here's the 0-1 pitch. Fouled back, 0-2 the count. The way Knight is throwing, the Hawks are not going to need a bullpen. He's retired 6 in a row since walking dainty with 2 outs in the 5th, and marked down strikeout number 9 right there as he gets Wilner on strikes to end the 7th. And a 1-2-3 inning, 7 straight now set down by Knight. And we go to the 8th. Time running out on the Moichants. It's Hamel 3 and Coon Rapids 1.
The Hamel Hawks looking to move on into that bracket that will take them against the winner of the loser game from tonight against either Centennial or Cannon Falls. Most likely be Centennial, and that game would be a tough one. It's be tough for the loser here to come back after they have to play 2 games that day. One at 10:30 August 10th, and then also at 1 o'clock. And so the Moichants would like to win this game so they would only have to play once on that Saturday.
Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for Hamel to start the inning. It's number 25, Doug Parks. He'll be pinch hitting for Dan McCarty, who was 0 for 2. Parks, a left-handed swinger. So it'll be Parks, Vandehey, and Fleming for Hamel here in the 8th, as they try and clinch a berth in the state tournament.
Pinch hitting for the designated hitter Dan McCarty is number 25, Doug Parks.
Dainty back on the mound to work the 8th. 7 innings thus far, 6 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. Hasn't walked anybody and struck out 8. Pretty impressive line. However, it's not as good as Darren Knight's thus far. And the first pitch to Parks misses up high for ball 1.
It looks like number 8, Jay Olson, is warming up for the Moichants in the bullpen.
Misses outside with that one. 2-0 the count. And he gets that one across. And the pitch from Dainty is fouled back and out of play by Parks. That'll even things up at 2-2.
Take a look at Jay Olson warming up in the bullpen for the Moichants.
Parks swings and it's a ground ball to second. Irving gobbles it up and throws him out. So the leadoff man retired in the 8th. And that's 6 in a row retired by Dainty since Bauer's single back in the 6th. And now the top of the order, and Dan Vandehey, who's 1 for 3. He had an RBI single in the 5th. Hamel leading at 3-1. They got 2 back in the 2nd, a home run by Van Krevelen, and an RBI double by Al Kreb. Here's a line shot down the left field line. It's in there for a base hit. Vandehey with a big turn, and he puts on the brakes. Now the throw skips away from Irving, but he will still retreat to first base.
And if Irving had fielded that throw, he would have had a good shot to get Vandehey at first base. He was way off the bag.
Now Vandehey was thinking double all the way, but a nice job cutting it off in left field by Brown. Holds Vandehey to a single. But boy, he roped that one. His second hit number 7 for the Hawks, and that'll bring up the second baseman Tim Fleming, who's 0 for 3. Vandehey had the RBI that gave Hamel a 3-0 lead in the 5th. Now he's running. Hit and run play, and the throw skipped into center, but Vandehey was retreating to first. Obviously a hit and run play, though, because he broke with the pitch, and then when he didn't hear contact off of Fleming's bat, he put on the brakes and retreated to first base, and the throw skipped into center field. So Vandehey could have had himself an awfully easy stolen base, and instead he's still at first base.
The Merchants get a break there.
Yeah, the Moichants get a break, but if they had picked that ball up, they could have probably picked Vandehey off of first very easily.
This one's down low. Here's a throw down to first, but Vandehey gets back. 1-1 the count. Bauer on deck, and Van Krevelen would follow him. Fleming takes a long look at the signs. The 1-1 pitch, nothing on, and Fleming fouls it back. 1-2 the count. doubt that the Hawks would put a play on here now with Fleming behind in the count 1-2, and Daney strikes him out. Strikeout number 9 for Jeff Daney as both pitchers begin to pile up some pretty impressive strikeout totals.
Got some very aggressive hitters up there as well. The batters are just going up looking to hit the ball, and they're not taking a whole lot of pitches.
Well, here's Alex Bauer, who has a single to show for 3 times to the plate. Single to lead off the 6th.
There's a young fan out there practicing, hoping someday to be a Moichant.
And Daney with a curveball starts Bauer out. 0-1. Vandehey still aboard at first. 2 out here, top half of the 8th. Hamel trying to add to a 3-1 lead. Daney playing a little cat and mouse game with Vandehey over at first. And Bauer swings and misses. He's behind on the count 0-2.
Dainty really powering through still. Still snapping that ball off and coming in very good with the heat.
There's a ground ball to short. Easy play for Boyce. Flips to second for the force, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit, and 1 man left. We go to the last half of the 8th inning, and our score, Hamel 3, Coon Rapids 1.
Coon Rapids Moichants really needing some runs here, and they're going to be starting off with their second hitter, Dean Smith. And then they'll have Doug Dainty and Joe Boyce, so they'll have the meat of their order as well coming up to bat here in the bottom of the 8th. The meat of the order is really going to have to take up the slack here. As Knight comes back on, he's thrown over 100 and some pitches. How many pitches is it now, Jerry?
Darren Knight's thrown 131 pitches, 88 strikes, 43 balls.
That is a lot of pitches to be throwing.
Well, in the way that the Coon Rapids bottom half of their order has hit tonight, this may be their inning right here. They need to do something here, at least get one of the 2 runs back. But the way that the 6, 7, and 8 hitters have produced, or the lack of production from the 6, 7, and 8 hitters tonight, right here is their shot with Smith, Daney, and Boyce.
Could be. And they're going to need it now. It'd also be a very good pickup for if either Jeff Dainty comes back out to take the mound or one of the relief pitchers comes out. It'd be nice not to have to keep struggling and feel like the weight is always on your shoulders every time you take the mound. And the hitters, the Moichant hitters, are just going to have to come through.
Smith to lead it off. He's 0 for 3. Line to right in the first, grounded to second in the third, and then flew to right in the 5th. Takes that one for a strike. Now Hamel's playing him around to the right side in the outfield rather than playing him to pull. The 0-1 pitch, low and away, 1-1 the count.
The player coach, Dean Smith.
1-1 pitch taken for a strike. A ball and 2 strikes now the count. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swinging a foul back. Nice crowd on hand here at Castle Field. And a great night for baseball, and we've had a pretty good ball game thus far. Swing and a miss. Smith goes down on strikes.
Nice curveball again. And that's 10 strikeouts for Darren Knight.
Well, Dainty's going to have to come through with some kind of hit here. They got to get base runners. Be nice to get on, so maybe Joe Boyce has that opportunity to tie up the game. Now the umpire's really starting to call some pitches that look very, very low strikes. It did it twice to Dean Smith, and now this time extremely low to Doug Dainty.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, fouled straight back. Well, the strike zone has somewhat been sinking all night long. It started out, it was a pretty high strike zone in the early innings, but it has been sinking, and he hasn't been giving the high strikes anymore to either side. But Jeff Dainty was able to pick up a couple of low strike calls as well in the last couple of innings. That one's a little bit too low, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I was going to say, we've sunk to new lows. If that was a strike.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, up high. Count evens up at 2-2.
Now that ball to me looked like it was right across the numbers.
Yeah, he gave a couple of high strikes early in the game. It looked like he was going to have that high strike zone, but not over the last couple of innings. And the count is now full on the catcher, Doug Dainty. Dainty's 0 for 2. He walked in the 5th.
Moichants would like to see him on base again.
But he swings and pops one a mile high on the infield.
Vandehay
calls for it, makes the catch, and out number 2. So this is just what Hamel would have liked to see, and that's Joe Boyce walking up to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. The last thing that they wanted to do would be to face Boyce with a runner aboard here and a chance to tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. In his last at bat, he yanked one foul down the right field line that easily had the distance to clear the fence, but ended up striking out, and he's 0 for 1 officially, having walked in the 1st and been hit with a pitch in the 4th, then struck out in the 5th. The 0-1 pitch is down low, 1-1 the count. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a ground ball foul down the right field line.
Way ahead of it.
But I'm sure Darren Knight would take that swing any day out of Boyce. He's trying to pull the outside pitch. It's a tall order. Here's a curve ball that is laced down the right field line. This one's going to go all the way to the wall. Boyce rounds first, and he will pull into second with a double. So the Moichants with a runner in scoring position on the 2-out double by Boyce, and now Wade Hefter with a chance to draw his team within 1.
Take another look at it here. Pitch was right down the middle.
Very nice hit and a good camera angle.
Boyce just went with the pitch. And this is where the two previous batters kind of hurts it there. And Dean Smith and Doug Dainty both not being on base. Could have been scoring at that time, but again, the Moichants hurting themselves by not having them on base. Now Wade Hefter going to have to try to pick up the slack here.
He swings and hits one pretty well into the left center field gap. This will get a run home. Hefter rounds first. He's going to try and go to second. The throw not in time, and a double for Wade Hefter. And it's a 3-2 ball game on back-to-back 2-out doubles from Boyce and Hefter.
And I think part of this has to do with Knight. He's already thrown 150 pitches. And there you see a nice shot to the left center field gap, and I'm a little bit surprised that they sent Hefter. He was very nearly out at second base, and you don't want to take yourself out of a late inning rally.
John Cosgrove continues to warm in the Hamel bullpen, but it appears they will stick with Knight for at least one more batter, with Mark Schnaff coming to the plate.
It looks like they're going to also petition whether or not Hefter touched first base or not. I think he's going to step off the rubber and throw to first. I'm not exactly sure. Yep, that's what they're going to do. Umpire calls him safe.
That's the second time that Hamel has protested or appealed that a runner missed a base, and both times the umpires ruled in the Moichants' favor. But now Mark Schnaff with a chance here. He's 0 for 3 against Knight.
Yeah.
Umpire
We'll have a pinch runner at second base. That appears to be Kip Jacobson.
Kip Jacobson going out for Wade Hefner at second base. Kip will be running for Hefner.
And that's a good move. Wade Hefter's sort of a slower player, real husky kind of guy, and hopefully Jacobson will add some extra speed and maybe score the tying run.
And that's what the Moichants need, is they have Mark Schnapp batting here, and Schnapp now really needing to get down and dirty and try to get some contact with the ball.
pickoff play at second. They had him hung up, but the throw was on the second baseman side rather than the shortstop side. Vandehay had snuck in behind the pinch runner Jacobson, and they had him dead to rights if the throw was on the third base side of the bag.
The fans are really starting to get into the game.
Yeah, they are. It looked like Knight kind of hesitated too on the throw. He didn't really turn around and throw it right away, and otherwise they probably would have had him.
Schnapp takes inside, and it's 1-0. Schnapp 0 for 3. He bats here with the pinch runner Jacobson at second and 2 out in the 8th. Moichants trailing at 3-2. 1-0 pitch is over for strike one. I'm not sure exactly what the Hamel dugout was yelling about, but the home plate umpire turned and had some words for the Hamel dugout. The 1-1 pitch is grounded up the middle, slow roller, long throw, and they don't get him. Schnapp beats it out. Wasn't hit hard enough for Fleming to have a play. By the time Fleming got to the ball, had to stop and throw off his back leg, and Schnapp beats it out for an infield hit.
3 straight hits.
Take another look at it here. Fleming way out into the Schnapp, just quick enough to get a foot on the bag before. So now we've got Kip Jacobson at third base with 2 outs. Schnapp at first base.
And 3 straight hits for the Moichants.
The first time they've done that all night.
Now we're going to get a visit to the mound. Cosgrove continues to throw over in the Hamel bullpen, but he's not really throwing all that hard. I don't know if he's seriously warming up or if he's just out playing a little catch, because he doesn't appear to be ready to come into the game.
Well, I don't think that Hamel is very worried about. I mean, so far tonight, Jeff Rule has had some trouble hitting the ball and making contact with the ball, and so I think that they'll probably stick with Knight throughout, this batter.
Darren Knight at 150 pitches right now. I think this will help Jeff Rule. Obviously, his velocity's got to be down somewhat.
Rule has struck out all 3 times that he's batted tonight, as has the on-deck hitter, Scott Brown.
Knight now starting to shake his arm like he's starting to get bothered by that pitching arm.
After 150 pitches, I really wouldn't be surprised.
1-0 pitch is in there for strike one. To me, though, in all honesty, Darren Knight does not appear to have lost a thing off his fastball. It looks just as hard as it did early in the ballgame. He was pitching a pretty good at-bat to Joe Boyce up until the pitch that Boyce roped for a double. He had him down in the count 1-2, had him reaching for an outside pitch, and all of a sudden Boyce rips a double to right, and that's when all the trouble started. Hefter followed with the double to left center on the first pitch. Then Schnapp with the infield hit, but even Schnapp's ball was not hit all that hard. That one's outside. It's now 3-1 the count to Jeff Rule.
Rule looking just to get on base here.
That would be a big bonus for the Merchants, and that load the bases.
3-1 pitch is down low, and the bases are loaded with 2 out in the 8th. That'll bring up the left fielder, Scott Brown, who has struck out all 3 times that he has faced Knight.
It looks like Cosgrove may be throwing a little bit harder now in the pen. With 2 outs, this is probably the most important bat that Brown has had all season long. To take a look had Kip Jacobson on in third, the tying run.
Brown with a big swing and a miss at the first one, 0-1 the count.
Both Rule and Brown really having trouble making contact.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2 the count. Jacobson at third, Schnaff at second, Rule at first, 2 out, last of the 8th, and the Moichants down by a run.
Even if the Merchants can't score a run here, the good thing is they're at the top of the order coming up for the 9th.
Yeah, with Irving and Hefter.
Swing and a miss. Brown chased a high fastball, goes down on strikes. And Darren Knight pitches out of another huge jam.
Wow.
The Moichants do score 1 on 3 hits, no errors. They leave the bases loaded. They have left 9 runners on. We have played 8, and our score, Hamel 3 and Coon Rapids 2.
Hamel's Knight just getting out of, finding himself in some very extreme situations there. 3 hits in a row for the Moichants. That's the first time they've done it. Dainty back on the hill for the Moichants, and he'll be pitching to the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Van Cravelin, Doherty, and Leitner.
17 strikes, 10 balls that last inning. Not very good control. A total of 105 strikes, 53 balls, 158 pitches for Darren Knight.
But he shows that he still has enough zip on that fastball, because he had Brown swinging from his heels and
Brown
chased that high fastball on the last pitch that really not anywhere close to the strike zone.
I have a feeling I don't know though. I don't think we'll see Knight in the last inning. Might see Cosgrove.
I would guess that we will see Knight. I'd at least think they'd allow Knight to start the inning. If he gets in trouble, they can always go to Cosgrove. But you don't want to take a guy out of a game like this. He's pitched a beautiful ball game up to this point. Just the 2 runs through 8 innings, and you want to at least give him the shot at it in the 9th inning.
I think maybe they might mix it up a little bit. Throw someone else in there. Irving's been hitting the ball okay, and then right away Wilner as well hitting the ball okay. And if Irving gets on, Wilner with the home run would win the game for him at this point. Dainty looking a little tired himself though right now.
Dainty needs to get his team in the dugout still down by a run, and he faces Van Cravelin here and falls behind 3-0. Misses on 4 straight. So Van Cravelin aboard with a leadoff walk.
First walk of the game for the Hamel Hawks.
And this will bring up Sean Doherty, who has had about the same success that Brown has had against Knight. He's struck out 3 times in a row. The last one looking in the 6th, and that was a sign of a pretty frustrated hitter because it was right down the middle. He's squaring to bunt. It's a pretty good one. Dainty's only play will be first base, and he makes the play with Irving covering. So score to sacrifice 1-4, and moving to second on the play is Van Cravelin, and Hamel doing a nice job moving the runner into scoring position, something that the Moichants did not execute well early in the game.
That's a very good move for Hamel. Sean Doherty having trouble at the plate, able to bunt the man to second, and that'd be a very important run for the Hamel Hawks.
First pitch swinging and popping one foul, just getting out of play, is Eddie Leitner, the right fielder. Leitner 0 for 3. Chance here to add a big insurance run for Hamel. Rocky Boyce on deck, and he has had a pretty effective night with the bat for the Hawks. So you won't see Dainty pitching around Leitner here to get to him. Here's a ground ball up the middle. Irving ranging to his right. Long throw. Got him. Nice play by Dale Irving at second base. Moving up to third on the play is Van Krevlin, but Irving showing some pretty good range to his right on that one. There you see the runner, Van Krevlin, over at third, and now Rocky Boyce with a chance to drive him in. Boyce 2 for 3 tonight with a couple of runs scored, doubled in the second, singled in the fifth, and then flew to right in the seventh. Dainty's first pitch is fouled straight back. 0-1 the count.
Well, you knew you were going to get a good game between the number 1 and the number 2 seeds, and it doesn't get any better than this coming down to the 9th inning, only 1 run separating them.
Boyce takes down low for ball 1. No, it's been an outstanding ball game. Couple of home runs. Couple of pretty gutty pitching performances by Dainty and Knight. Each pitcher will throw well over 100 pitches before the night's over. Swing and a miss, and 1-2 the count.
Dainty going right at Boyce with that fastball.
Van Krevlin at third, 2 out, top of the 9th. Hamel trying to add to a 3-2 lead. The 1-2 pitch, Boyce swings and hits one a long way into center field. Wilder on the run, he won't get this one. Rocky Boyce has homered, and it is now a 5-2 ball game, and what a game for Rocky Boyce. A single, a double, and a home run, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored, and has to be sweet success for Boyce coming against his former team. And what a big hit that one is for Rocky Boyce and the Hamel Hawks.
Take another look at it. That was right up that power alley we've been talking about all night. Just clears the fence. He got a fastball and he drove it.
And Boyce is a competitor. You see him every inning when his team makes the final out, yelling in excitement, sprinting to the dugout. He's a leader on this Hamel team. Here's a ground ball to short. Easy play for Joe Boyce, and that'll end the inning, but the damage is done by Rocky Boyce and the Hamel Hawks. 2 runs, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. We go to the last of the 9th, and Hamel now leads it by a score of 5-2.
But coming up for the Moichants, gonna have to be some guts and hits. As you saw Dale Irving there getting ready. He will lead off for the Moichants, the number 9 hitter. He's 1 for 2 tonight with a walk. And then Dave Wilner will bat, and then Dean Smith. So we'll start the number 9, 1 and 2 hitters. And Knight comes out to the mound again. So you were right. So what?
You think his arm would be falling off by now?
I think they would have had an awfully hard time talking him into not coming back out here.
Especially with those 2 runs, that makes the decision a lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, and it changes the strategy quite a bit, too, for the Moichants, obviously. Instead of being down just 1 run, your strategy is obviously different when you're down by 3. You know, Irving now coming up. In a 1-run ball game, he just needs to get on base. They'll move him around. But now in a 3-run ball game, they need a lot more than just the leadoff hit. Changes the strategy of the whole inning. And Moichants had worked so hard and scrapped for that run in the 8th. And the Hawks erased that in a hurry with Boyce's 2-run homer in the top of the 9th.
Oh, Dale's wife still looks happy. She must not be watching the same game we are.
And Rocky Boyce really coming back to haunt the Coon Rapids Moichants.
Yeah, he is. 3 for 4 tonight.
3 runs scored in that big 2-run homer.
And here's Dale Irving, as you mentioned, 1 for 2, doubled in the third, walked in the fifth, and grounded back to the mound in the seventh. Takes a strike, it's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch is sliced foul down the right field line. And Irving in the hole, 0-2. He's fallen behind in every at-bat thus far. 0-2 pitch is just up high, 1-2 the count.
High pitches that was called for a strike early on, and that just missed here. In the
Just. We're all holding our breath.
There's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Irving goes down on strikes. Strikeout number 11 for Darren Knight. Number 12, excuse me.
12 strikeouts, 4 walks, and again, both pitchers with 5 fine outings.
Well, the Moichants are going to be kicking themselves at all the opportunities they wasted early in this one, and then, of course, the biggest one with the bases loaded in the 8th. But with runners in scoring position and nobody out in 3 of the first 4 innings and failing to score, Wilner hits this one high in the air to shallow center, and coming on is Van Krevlin. 2 out now, nobody on, last of the 9th. And the Moichants are down to their final out, and it's the coach Dean Smith to bat, who is 0 for 4.
See the Moichants dugout there. Not a whole lot of peppy guys in there right now.
I'm a little surprised we didn't see any pinch hitters for the Moichants in this game. Again, Scott Brown really struggling and unfortunately strike out in the 8th.
Knight into the windup, delivers high and away for ball 1. Moichants down to the last out. They trail it 5-2 here in the last half of the 9th.
Although if the Moichants could get Dean Smith and Doug Dady on base, the complexion of the game might change completely with Joe Boyce up with a couple guys on base.
Never can tell in this game.
There's the 2-0 pitch. Smith taking all the way, and it's now 2-1. But what a better name for a coach than Dean Smith.
Sounds like a coach, doesn't it?
Some coach that I've heard of somewhere before.
Somewhere before.
2-1 pitch. The off-speed pitch is fouled off. 2-2 the count. So now Darren Knight 1 strike away from ending perhaps one of the longest pitching outings of his career. Some 160 pitches later. Swing and a ground ball to short. Vandehey's got it, throws him out, and the ball game is over. The Hamel Hawks will advance to the state tournament behind the pitching of Darren Knight and the bat of Rocky Boyce as Knight goes the distance, 9 innings, gives up just 7 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 4 walks, and 12 strikeouts. Throws some 160 pitches, and then Rocky Boyce with the bat, 3 for 4, 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs, a double, and the big home run in the top of the 9th that put this one away. And there you see the final. Hawks win it 5-2.
A couple of things to mention. That Coon Rapids will be playing now on Saturday, August 10th, and they'll be meeting the winning team of the winner of either Centennial Cannon Falls game, and most likely be playing Centennial. So very good possibility that this same Coon Rapids team could be going up against this same Hamel team in the championship game of this tourney, and they would have to beat them twice that day. So Moichants could actually be playing 3 games that day. Could be a tough game for the Moichants, or a tough day for the Moichants. But again, like you said, Anthony, missing a lot of opportunities tonight.
Well, they left 9 runners on as a whole. 3 of them, of course, with the bases loaded in the 8th and Brown strikes out. They have runners at first and third in the first inning, and Hefter couldn't get them around. But the thing is that they had runners at second base with nobody out so many different times, and they didn't execute the fundamentals of the game. They didn't move the runners up to third base with 1 out to get them in. couple different situations where they had a leadoff double and the second batter in the inning was not able to move the runner to third base. And those are the little things that a lot of times teams don't look at early in a ball game because they say it's too early to be playing the one-run strategies, whether it be a bunt or hitting the ball to the right side. But you see it so many times coming back to haunt a team late in the game and say, boy, if we just could have moved that one runner around, the game would have been different.
Jerry, your thoughts on the game?
Well, I definitely have to agree with Anthony. Again, you probably have to give Rocky Boyce and Darren Knight co-MVPs of this game, both of them, with stellar performances for the Hamel Hawks, and they're in the driver's seat to win this Section 8 playoffs.
Well, and they're already headed to the state tournament, and Coon Rapids, you mentioned they've got a tough road back to win the region. They'd have to win 3 in a row, but they're still just one win away from qualifying for the state tournament anyway, because the top 2 teams go. So still just one game away, but it would be an awfully tough task to beat this Hamel team twice in a row.
So we'd like to thank everyone for making this this KOcast possible. The Anoka Park Systems, Castle Park here, both Hamel Hawks and the Coon Rapids Moichants, CTV North Suburbs and their production vehicles, and the CTV staff as well as the volunteer staff coming along and making CTV Sports as good as it is. Anthony, thanks for helping us out. Anthony LaPanta, Jerry Otto, and myself, Tony Vietti, would like to thank you all for joining us on men's amateur baseball here, Region 8 playoffs between the Hamel Hawks and the Coon Rapids Moichants. There again, you see the final. The Hamel Hawks beating the Coon Rapids Moichants 5-2 in a terrific game. Good night, everybody.